Behind every CXO title, there is a story, a struggle, a spark. Manobala isn't about designations, it's about the human behind the success. Manobala, connecting great minds. Welcome to CXO Journey and HR Mantra, presented by Manobala. This episode is proudly sponsored by SoMark Spaces, where design meets purpose, creating interiors that inspire the way you live, work, and connect.
So, sir, I remember earlier days the fighting happening for three things. Okay, which there's a very Hindi phrase is there. Fighting happening for three things: jar, joru, jameen. Okay, so that is fighting happening.
Yeah.
But the problem is now elements are same, but now the people are dying because of three things. So that's the pinching now more into societies and more into generations.
Yeah.
So
True.
so I wanted to ask, sir, for young professional starting out, what's your message on finding meaning in their career path? Because you coach multiple, you can say freshers, multiple youngsters.
Yeah.
What's your message in that part, in this way?
When it comes to career is part of life, right? It is not separate from life. So the most important thing is to start with life and ask this question: what is the purpose of my life, right? And then align everything else to life's purpose. If you believe your current career or profession is not allowing you to achieve your purpose, then you're probably on the wrong career. Your life's purpose and your career cannot be misaligned. They have to be aligned. That is important. So the big question is, what is my life's purpose? Why am I here? Why has God sent me here? Right? What have I come here for? Then align everything else to that. Your study, your education, your relationships, your career, and everything. So I give this example to young people. Bill Gates started Microsoft not to become the richest man in the world, right? He did not even know that the day he started Microsoft, he had no idea that he'll become the richest man in the world.
Right.
His purpose was to start a software company and make software which the common man can use. Before that, software was complex, and he brought in, Then he brought in the GUI, suite of products where everybody could start using software. So that was his purpose, right? He became the richest man in the world is a different matter. I read this story somewhere. I don't know how true it is. That I think Ratan Tata was once on the road. He was probably going somewhere. It was raining, and then he saw a couple and with their children standing under a tree. They were on a two-wheeler.
Correct.
And it was raining, hard, heavily, and then he felt really sad. He said the common Indian, the middle class Indian, must have a four-wheeler.
Correct.
Right? So it is the empathy and the purpose of a leader to make a difference, to touch lives of common people, right? That triggered a business idea. While the idea was a business idea, but it was very strongly and profoundly linked to the purpose of a visionary, of a leader like Ratan Tata, whose purpose in life was to touch lives, make a difference to people's lives.
I think that's how he connected with the nano car, which he's come up with the idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He came up with the idea of the nano car.
Correct.
And then that's how that idea became real, in a few years.
Correct. True.
So that is the message I would like to give to young people. Whatever you do, whatever is your profession, whatever career path you choose, always remember your purpose. And career is not about position, title, is not about money, the compensation that you get. Career is about achieving your purpose. And Bill Gates was after his purpose and he became the richest man. That's a different matter. So money, title, position, everything will come.
Automatically will come.
Automatically it will come.
So I think there is somebody has told me, you follow with the Saraswati knowledge.
Yes.
Lakshmi automatically will come.
Absolutely.
That's I have read somewhere.
You're very right.
If you
Right.
follow with the Saraswati, the knowledge, the
Yes.
wisdom, the gain,
Yeah.
Lakshmi automatically
Yes,
will come.
yes.
But if you forget Saraswati and go after
Yes,
only
example.
Lakshmi, you will lose Lakshmi as well as Saraswati.
Correct. True. Very good. So, sir, now I'm moving to the
Yeah.
next. What does true transformation in HR and L&D look like? Not just in process, but in the mindset. What your input on that?
Excellent question. I think it is more about mindset and less about process, right? So when the world around us is changing, the HR and L&D professionals will also have to change. So the most important mindset change is that we are no longer an support function. We are not a support function anymore.
Correct.
We are an enabling function. And not just an enabling function. We are part of business, right? When we say enabling function, probably you mean that you are enabling the business. But what I'm trying to say is you are the business. You feel that you are part of the business. And imagine what value you are creating. So I give this message to all my L&D colleagues, fellow colleagues in my organization and the colleagues that I meet. I tell them that look at yourself. If you're the chief learning officer of the company, just imagine that you are running a startup, right? Where you are an L&D service provider to your organization. So look at yourself as that, right? And then as a startup, the only way you can survive is providing value to your customer. So look at your larger organization as your customer, and you are a startup providing services to them. So bring in that entrepreneurial business mindset, which will make a big difference. I think that's the biggest transformation in thinking has to happen, where is all about impact, not about transactions and activities.
Good, sir. So I just wanted to in detail on that. Can you share a story where your leadership created not just business result, but also human impact? If any your past careers, if you wanted to share some story.
There were a few of them. One thing that immediately comes to my mind is in one of my previous organizations, I was running a program on leadership development for mid-level managers. And I designed that program as a journey. While there was pressure, or not a pressure, but there was the leadership was asking me to design a few classroom sessions, etc., and then finish that program, execute that program quickly. I pushed back and I said it has to be a journey, right? There is no band-aid solution.
Right.
It has to be a journey where we kind of shape, our leaders' thinking and behaviors, and then I convinced the leadership team to agree to a 6-month journey, which I stitched together with my colleagues in the team. And we brought in elements of self-learning, project-based work, also elements of coaching, mentoring, brown bag sessions, leadership sessions, etc. And after the journey ended, out of about 35 people who were part of that journey, in about a year's time, 9 of them moved to the next level. From mid-level, they moved to the next level. So for me, it was a program which, of course, delivered a business value, right? Because you wanted to create next line of leadership. It also changed a few people's lives forever.
Of course.
Right?
Because their career path is uplifted onto the next level.
Yes.
That's a very good.
Yeah.
How do you help organization to move from training to transforming?
Yes, that's an important question, important aspect today, because traditional thought process was training is just an activity, it's a holiday, Organization
Correct.
provides you training opportunities from time to time. Then you go to a 5-star hotel, spend 3 days and all that, right? So organizations need to move away from that. For that, I think what is important is looking at training as a tool for transformation, right? Because no organization can transform itself without building capability.
Of course.
So people capability is equal to organizational capability. And when we build organizational capability at scale and also at speed sometimes, you actually transform the organization. So that's the shift in thinking that has to happen. So, and in that journey, everybody has to be involved. The employees, the managers, the leadership, but everybody has to have a belief in this core philosophy. And that's what I always strive to achieve.
So here I have the two questions, sir. One, most of organizations, because every L&D team having their target, number of hours to complete employees in the end of the year. Again, this most of organization is become rat race.
Yeah.
They want to see the numbers on dashboard. My employee has done this many number of hours of learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you believe that's really helping to organization, or it just tick mark job that most of the company is doing?
Only tracking number of hours and number of people is not going to help in any case. It has to be the impact and the value, right? Like the example I shared. It's not about how many people attended the training for how many hours, right? It's about how many moved to the next level.
Of course, that's outcome.
That is outcome. So learning has to be linked with outcomes. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Where the L&D professionals are struggling today is to figure out how to measure that ROI or the outcome, right? Because sometimes it is a little intangible. It is an unseen element, but they have to find a way to measure the impact of training. Measuring just number of hours and number of people trained is meaningless. It's not going to help at all.
So
You may have to do it for a compliance perspective, but does it really help? I don't think so.
yeah. So here, sir, I wanted to ask your opinion. The current market is lots of noise about the GCC, and especially the Asia Pacific business GCC is like hype currently.
Yeah.
Okay. Every company want to do the GCC.
Yes.
In your opinion, as a L&D leaders, why this is more hype in the Indian market and Asia Pacific? That's one. Second, as a seasonal L&D leaders, what are the major L&D roles in that to shape to the organization or country into next level in terms of GCC space?
Because at the foundation, the reason why the GCCs are kind of taking shape and gaining prominence is because of, especially in the Indian context, is because of the talent pool that we have, right?
True.
So over the years, the academia as well as the corporate L&D leaders have done enough to kind of, take the talent to the next level, right? While we have a large pool of, technical graduates coming in every year, but kind of sharpening their skills, shaping them to professionals is a job that L&D has been doing. Now, I think the role would be, as organizations are setting up those GCCs, right? How do they bring in the knowledge, which is not just the domain knowledge or the technical knowledge, or also bringing the cultural aspect, combining all of that, right? And then building GCCs or GCCs of today and tomorrow is where L&D is going to play a very important role. Because GCCs will have centers of excellence, right? They will build capability for today and tomorrow. They will support a large client base globally, right? So if you have to do all of this, I think building capability on an ongoing basis, upskilling, cross-skilling and reskilling will become extremely important. And that's where I see L&D playing a very, very important role.
One more question, sir. It's out of the league. I was reading some study. Talent available in the market, especially the every year pass out the students, either tech, non-tech students, and the job opportunity in the market. Most of, if I'm not wrong, the figure 35 to 45%, every company vacancy is not filled because of the talent pool, non-talent pool availability. How you take this one as a threat for the Indian market, or you can say our societies, and how we can fill this gap, the education system which we currently running, and the organization expectations.
Yeah, we keep talking a lot about this, and especially most of the corporate HR leaders, talent acquisition leaders keep saying that, the talent that come out of academic institutions are not employable.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
So there is a problem. There is a big gap between what corporates expect and what the universities and technology institutions produce. So there is a need for organizations and institutions to collaborate, right? It is not, my personal opinion is,
Yeah.
it is not enough for an HR leader to say that the talent produced by universities is not enough. The question is what I am doing about it.
Yes, true.
Right? Don't I have a role to play in that? Right? So what is industry doing to bridge the gap? We always pass on the blame to universities, saying you guys are not good enough. Right? So what are we doing to make a difference? I think the shift will happen when universities and educational institutions
Come together.
when educational institutions start behaving like a corporate house, right? They bring in the elements of the corporate culture, exposure into the university and college setup. And when corporates start behaving like finishing schools, right? So corporates have to behave like schools. Schools will have to behave like corporates. When that shift happens, there'll be better collaboration between the two.
Right.
Otherwise, today these are like two estranged siblings not even looking at each other. It's not going to help the industry.
True. Very good, sir.